Hello, everyone, and welcome to my interpretation of why interpersonal communication is important in the workforce. This is for the class of effective communication over at University of Denver. So the big question is, what is interpersonal communication? Interpersonal communication is defined as the process of message transaction between two people to create and sustain a shared meaning. Now, this kind of encounter could be between you and a spouse, sharing your good morning hellos. It could be between you and your favorite barista for your morning coffee. And in the workplace, it could be a meeting between you and your manager or boss. So now, why is it important in the workplace? According to Vanessa Van Edwards in her video titled Interpersonal Skills, the ultimate guide, those with well-developed interpersonal skills are able to speak so people listen, decode body language, negotiate easily, be highly charismatic, have high empathy, be socially assertive, and read facial expressions. Now, having these skills can help you build interpersonal relationships. They can also help you establish work relationships. And building these work relationships allow you to have better interviews, better rapport between you and colleagues, better rapport between you and all of your um, clients, your guests, and everyone that you interact with while you're at work. The points that Vanessa made, we will be going over. We want to go ahead and focus on decoding body language. This can be seen as nonverbal communication, negotiating easily, conflict resolution, being highly charismatic, and most importantly, having empathy. Empathy brings you down, not down, but allows you to connect with other people and understand what they might be going through. And then, as stated in the article, why every employee at your company should have communication training by Blake Morgan. This was published in Forbes. They said teaching employees how to clearly and concisely stand up for themselves and ask for things is an important part of communication training. Now, training your workforce to have these interpersonal skills allows them to set up meetings, to not be shy and intimidated by speaking with their boss. They're able to fluidly advocate for their needs, wants, and goals within the company. Now, let's go ahead and go back to nonverbal communication. What is nonverbal communication? When you think communication, you just think a string of words between two people, but it is more than just that. Nonverbal communication is defined as the process of exchanging non-linguistic cues. So it's not just words that come out of your mouth, but it could be kinesics, physical appearance, how you look every day. Are you coming in nice dressy casual clothes? Are you coming in sweats? When you start to see someone in sweats at work, you know for sure maybe something's wrong. Facial expressions. Hey, good morning, Monique. How are you? I'm doing great. And you? Versus, hey, I'm doing great. So even though they say I'm doing great, you see in the face that the words don't match here. You have the frown, the low brows, and non-eye contact. So having these allow you to not only as an employee connect with your people, but you're able to see that something is wrong or that they're going through something. So you're able to interject and say, hey, Monique, is everything okay? Can you step into my office so we could speak about, maybe what's going on? Is this the reason why your work is being affected? Things like this help a lot. We could talk about paralanguage, tone of voice, haptics, touching, non-touching, proxemics, environment. Environment is very important in the workplace. Environment in the workplace could be either one of everyone getting along, everyone talking, or it's that vibe when you walk into the office and there's those glares. No one really says hi. It's just like, oh, she's here. So, as an employer, being able to see all these nonverbal cues in all of your employees and teaching your employees to see these verbal cues can help morale, can help build their own professional skills within the foundation of the company. Now, along with nonverbal cues, this goes hand in hand with empathy. Empathy. Good communicators practice empathy, the ability to be other oriented and understand other people's thoughts and feelings. When people say, put yourself in my shoes, they are asking you to consider a situation from their own perspective rather than your own. This was mentioned in the third edition of Interpersonal Communication by Corey Floyd. Having empathy in the workplace allows for more understanding relationships and being able to open up the table to discuss what's being affected by your team or what's affecting them. You as a manager or an employer, or even as your employees to your guests, being able to read these nonverbal cues, being able to be one-on-one or bring yourselves down to understand other people's issues. So now, how do we achieve this? How do we bring these interpersonal communication skills into the workplace? How do we keep them above everything else to make sure we are having the best employees that we can? So let's follow keys. Keys is mentioned, let's see here, my apologies. Quintanilla mentioned this in chapter 6 of interpersonal communications at work. He described keys as know yourself, evaluate the professional context, your communication interactions, and step back and reflect. Achieving professional excellence with your coworkers is accomplished most easily by following these keys. The process and thinking of your coworkers as internal customers. So on when you're speaking with guests or with clients, you might be very respectful, very nice, have that nice pitch tone with them. But then once you're done with them, you go to your internal customers, as they say, your colleagues, your tone changes, you're very disrespectful. So we want to make sure that you're using these keys not only with your guests, but with your other colleagues within the company as well. This helps keeps again rapport, helps build relationships, helps your employees gather the knowledge they need to advance in your company. Having staff learn about interpersonal communication allows them to also learn how to handle conflict. Conflict is important in the workplace. Not knowing how to handle conflict can lead to bad rapport, gossip. So, teaching your employees how to handle conflict allows them to build their negotiation and conflict skills. This can be used both towards management, other colleagues, and even guests. The fact that people are different and have had different histories and have had different goals invariably produces differences, as stated by DeVito in the fifth edition of the Interpersonal Communication book. Unresolved conflict can lead to less productiveness, lower morale, and less wanting of team building. Having interpersonal communication can help your employees learn about conflict and resolution skills, as I mentioned, Having these skills will allow them to not only succeed with workplace relationships, but also handling difficult guests and how to de-escalate situations. All of these points that I mentioned are why it is important to have interpersonal communication training in the workplace. This allows you to build relationship with your employees. It has the revolving door becomes less and less and less gone into. It helps with employee retention. Last thing you want is to keep training and training and training people for them just to leave and then you lose money there. So bringing these skills, investing in your employees, giving them these set of skills, giving them these workshops, building into them makes them feel as if they are important. If the company is going to invest in them, then they're going to invest all of their might back into the company. I thank you for joining me in this talk about why is it important for interpersonal communication in the workforce. I hope that you in the future build a program or use one of the programs that are available to you for this training. And I hope you are able to better your employees. Thank you.